Good evening, it's Kuro. Got a random game in my Tier 8 Maerker. Going over the matchmaking, double CV matchmaking, Talon and the destroyer threats, Maerker, Ognivoy, and Akatsuki round out the threats to my ship. And the map is Crash Zone Alpha. This is going to be an interesting game because, number one, it's double CV, and that also kind of throws off some of the spawns because, I mean, you got this one DD down here. He literally has no support, and it's a Maerker, and these, well, we'll get into it with these German DDs. I've been kind of playing around, seeing if I can find a play style. Anything other than just kind of long-range AP spam, and I haven't really been too thrilled with what I've seen with everything up to Tier 8. Now, part of this, it could also be my matchmaking. I'm typically running into very low numbers of cruisers in games right now, and if we ever do hit a meta where, you know, we get a sizable number of cruisers in the game, this line would become more interesting. But right now, just the matches that I played, very lackluster for the low and mid tier big gun German destroyers. So right here, just easing up here gently, just kind of want to see where the enemy CVs are going, scout a little bit for my team. I've got a Nelson that's sitting out there at the moon. Typically a Nelson isn't going to push in here too aggressive, so just gonna try to get up here and see what I can spot. Now, some of the issues that I have with these DDs, one, the AP isn't really effective against destroyers in my opinion. Most DDs at the low and mid tier, you're just gonna overpen, and you don't really have the HE DPM to really pick a lot of fights. Now, if this guy's gunboat Akatsuki, he could probably wreck me, but most people don't play Akatsuki like I do. This is an important turn. I have kind of potatoed this engagement because I've left most of my guns on the wrong side of my ship. I'm starting to get focused by a support, so it's more important for me to save HP right now because this guy isn't really shooting at me. I'm just taking pot shots here to get whatever sort of damage I can off this guy and just angling away from the threats. I have switched back to HE just because I'm just getting more damage out of this. This engagement is more just to kind of illustrate some of the issues that you have with the lower tier DDs, that you're just going to overpen. Looking to see if I can get some fires on those turpets. For some reason, gun's not locking on. Now, I do have to be careful that I'm not going to get blasted by torps here, so I am going to try to turn a little bit into the Akatsuki. Again, these torpedoes are very questionable. Just even with a full torpedo build, I think maximum torp speed something that's like 55 knots. That's just really painful. Yes, they do reload quickly, but it's one of those things. I would much rather have a weapon that takes much longer to reload than a weapon that, frankly, isn't something that I can use. And I don't really view these as any sort of reliable weapon. They're in the same category as like long-range Sims torps, where you're just spamming them out there and maybe you get lucky and get a hit. You can see just how slow those torps are. This battleship can do one big huge turn and, you know, only eating one torpedo, and honestly that could have missed if I hadn't been so aggressive with my prediction to try to cover as many different options as they have. You got to understand, for your torpedo prediction, you have your your time that it takes for your torpedo to arrive on target, and how far can that ship move in any direction. And so, you know, he could turn out, he could turn in, he can turn the other way. All of those are things that you're looking to try to compensate for. And with these long-range torps, just not really gonna happen. So just kind of predicting that this Scharnhorst is gonna just kind of sail along like this, but he turns in. Those torpedoes are gonna miss. Now this is important. My Nelson goes down. Time for me to go dark. I've been really aggressive shooting, just trying to get any sort of damage. Try to pull as much attention towards me as possible. Just unfortunately, everybody's kind of given up shooting at me because they weren't really hitting me, and everybody just focused down my Nelson, and unfortunately he has decided to go for a swim. So this is a critical portion of the game. This is decision making time. I'm going to pause it here. Got a couple options. So I know that this flank is pretty much done. I don't have any support. It's not like this ship has significant DPM where I can just start gunboating, you know, a cruiser or a battleship and just working them down. The torpedo armament isn't reliable enough for me to just, you know, confidently approach one of these battleships and just erase them. Even the torpedo pattern with a 1-4 4 torpedo launcher, 1 quad launcher, excuse me, and a 1 twin launcher is very awkward because you're going to struggle to lay a consistently tight torpedo spread. Again, just everything about this ship and its lower tier siblings just really haven't been a fan of. So I've got a couple options here. I can either continue to kind of kite this way. I know that these CVs are going to start drawing a lot of attention. This cruiser, I'm anticipating, since nothing's going to be spotted for him, he's probably out of gun range to the carriers, that instead of, you know, sailing up in this direction, he's going to come more towards the middle of the map, and that's going to open up a seam in here for me to slip around behind these guys. Either that, or I just keep rolling out to the west, work my way south, link up with my team, and help push across with them. Gonna take a gamble that these guys are gonna get bored, head towards the middle of the map, and that's gonna open up this seam for me and set up at least one decent torpedo opportunity, and if I'm lucky, get me in on the backside of their guns where I can just start gunboating and being a pain in their butt. So you can look, I'm predicting this Scharnhorst, nothing to shoot at. He's going to cut across the front of this island, and this island's going to restrict his movement. So I know there's a DD over here, so unfortunately I can't get as close as I want. If I did, I'd be basically walking into a 3-on-1. The CVs aren't really going to be able to help me. So unfortunately, a longer range, and you can see the enemy DD. Longer range and long transit to time against a battleship that's pretty fast as far as battleships go, and just not a really good torpedo opportunity. Now I am going to switch to AP, and I am going to come up here on the A line and start working my way across, and I'm just watching to see where these guys are going to go. As soon as this DD spots these CVs, these guys are I'm predicting they're going to start getting focused on, ooh, CV, let's kill it. And that's going to give me some opportunities to go to work. Now I don't want to shoot here because this I don't even know how to pronounce that name. I ain't even gonna bother. But shooting at this cruiser, if I do it right now, he's just going to turn right into me and pin me against the border. So I'm actually going to wait till he gets past me, and going to go on ahead and then start engaging once I can actually outrun him on the backside. Now, and this is part of the reason why I kind of hold issue with these destroyers. So far I've found that the AP has been pretty inconsistent when it comes to citadeling cruisers at anything other than like close range. Typically ranges that I would be citadeling cruisers in a 127 millimeter gun like U.S. Navy destroyer. Just not anything to write home about so far. So just being cautious here, because you're gonna see it right here. I'm taking a pot shot here and shot at his belt. Got one penetration and torpedo protection. So it's just telling me that don't even bother shooting at the belt line. Just go for the upper belt and just go for penetration damage. And here, this is going to be more where this really is more evidence towards AFT being a good choice for these ships to give you some additional range, because I mean, these guns, even with 14 kilometers of range, the AP will still pin superstructures and a lot of upper belts and net you some decent damage per minute. So just it's something to think of. I'm probably going to be trying that more out. Right now I'm just trying to build, just to see what's this ship look like with the maximum AP DPM that I can get. And if you've got any questions on the build, it's going to be in the video description. And I mean, just frankly, this isn't a ship that I really feel comfortable carrying a battle in, and that's something that's it's important for you to feel that you've got tools that you need to actually take care of business, and I just don't feel that this ship has it. Again, maybe the 9 and 10 is going to be a little bit better. We'll see. But right now, just not really underwhelmed. And, I mean, here with the torpedoes, this Tirpitz can continue along. He can turn further out. He can turn all the way out and go around like he is right now. There's so many different options that this guy can do. These torpedoes are highly unlikely to land hits in these types of instances, and it's just unfortunate. I would like a ship that has such limited DPM, especially limited against destroyer DPM. I do expect it to have a better torpedo armament. I mean, these things are not going to be gunning down destroyers right, left, and center. At least the low and mid tier 150 millimeter gun ships. So here we are in now a 4v4. I am going to push in here because I see the Tirpitz isn't looking at me. I'm just going to try to get him off the board quicker before he can shoot another one of my teammates. And my Bismarck, unfortunately, is able to squeak that out before I'm able to pick him up. Now, we do have a Talon that he's kind of disappeared back here. This guy's been kind of playing questionable a lot of the game. He keeps wanting to play the back line and in his spawn. And I'm just going to play this safe coming around the island. Don't want to throw this game. And, I mean, they do have a CV that is still launching full strike or full AP dive bombers. And I mean, we do have a Bismarck and a Wichita that I know the Bismarck can get wrecked by AP dive bombers. I believe Wichita can, well, he might actually overpin the Wichita. But doesn't matter. The Talon is still running away. That opens up CCAP. So that at the very least tells me that I can create an opportunity for us just to cap this and walk away if we need to and win it on points. So that's going to be the game plan. I know this enemy CV's out here somewhere. I'm kind of expecting him to be behind this island. And boom, we get a detection here. Now, this is a good case for what I'm talking about with long-range AP spam. Now, where I think these ships might get more interesting is just acting actually like you're more of a battleship than a destroyer, as crazy as that sounds. And that is participating in the in establishing AP crossfires across the map, where your AP can now score reliable penetration damage against the enemy, and basically try to force these guys into a position where they either need to angle to your battleship or angle to yourself, and basically put them in a lose-lose situation. So at the end of the day, I think that's gonna be how these ships are mostly played. It's kind of unfortunate because I would like to see these ships have a little bit more impact closer in, but so far it is what it is. The AP out here at distance, just getting reliable penetration damage, it's pretty decent, at least on something lighter skin like this Vesser. But again, this isn't something that strikes me as this play style is going to win me games. This is going to have high impact over the course of the game. So that's my initial assessment of the low mid-tier 150 millimeter gun German destroyers. I've just found them lackluster, to date. A lot of the destroyers in the matchmaking at these tiers just doesn't have the armor really for you to score those big AP chunks of damage on them, and it makes you struggle much harder to get any sort of reliable damage in, unless you're just playing at range, just kind of plinking at things with your AP. So anyway, that is my initial assessment on these German destroyers. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. As always, invites to the community Discord and the build that I use will be in the video description. And if you get something out of these videos, maybe consider supporting the channel and joining my Patreon, and help this channel grow. We're in the middle of upgrading production, try to get you guys better quality videos, and can't thank my Patreons enough for helping improve the audio in these videos. It's been much improved since my previous first 2 years of videos. So anyway, if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them below. Hope you're having a good night, and I will talk to you later.